Hi everyone, this is Tuhin from ThatWare, and today in this video we will be learning about how one can make the best use of robots.txt and something new like how you can control which pages you need to block and what are the things which one should remember. So before getting started, I would like to tell you that like robots.txt is a file which can help you in like making sure that how you want to crawl your website. For example, how you want to like control the crawling of the bots or the spiders to serve essential pages of your website, and also it can help you to make sure which pages you want to show to your users and which pages you do not want to show to your users. So let's get started. So the first thing is a robots always consists of allow operator which will be helping you to declare a variable to robots as which areas you want to disallow and which areas you do not want your robots to show within this search. For instance, suppose you have a landing page. Suppose you have a landing page as example.com/page A. Now, if you don't want search engines to crawl page A, then you simply need to put the command as it is. And the vice versa goes for the next command as allow, which allows search engine to crawl a certain page after definitely the root command. So for like if you take the previous example, like if we have another page such as page B, in this case if we put as this command, so uh, by the help of this code it means that your robots is allowing access only for Google bot, and it's showing that uh, the entire website should allow page B, but this should not allow page A. Let me tell you that by default this would take your entire site as an index since there is no other value point. For instance, if you feel like you want to even like you do not even want to like allow index of your home page, then you can simply put the command as disallow, this one. So this will also prevent, or the vice versa, whichever is the earliest. So these are the basic commands of robots, and robots also contains two other parameters as crawl delay and allow star slash bike. So this means that star means entry point, which means that anything which starts from bike would get indexed. Now on the other hand, if you just want the bike, you don't want color, you if you have X, Y, Z, if you have more pages, if you just want bike, in that case you want to use, like you have to use dollar, which means this is the ending point. So if we, so this condition means that the entry point is bike and the closing point is also bike, which means that this will only allow this bike segment, so nothing before that gets indexed or nothing after that gets indexed, or the vice versa. If you use a disallow, then that's a vice versa condition. So now, keeping this thing in mind, this is a command which will be preventing all of random 404 pages from occurring within your website. Now let me tell you how. Such as suppose this is my website. Suppose this is my website, and suppose any random user searches random things on my website. So that would definitely give me a 404 error, and if this continues, then my website can be loaded with a huge amount of 404 errors, which definitely is not SEO friendly at all. So just to prevent this thing, and specifically have a e-commerce website, then using of this command is highly suggested because this can prevent unnecessary like unnecessary occurrence of 404 errors, because see, let me just explain. So whenever some unwanted query is defined, then like on the Google search, question mark equals to parameter defines that something is searched by the user. So this means that if you have a starting point of something starts with a user search and something also ends with user search, so that might be miscellaneous. Sometimes the query might be available on your site, sometimes the query might not be available within your website. So just to prevent any occurrence of 404 errors, if you just disallow this condition, then this can prevent additional like 404 errors. After that, the next command is like as I told you, that star and asterisk can really make sure that you can really control your website up to a greater extent. So let us work on this a bit further. So suppose you have your example pages as one sec. So suppose this is our example page xyz.com. Suppose disallow put a condition that star, which means the entry point, slash blue, which means that anything which starts by blue would be allowed to be crawled by the by your robots. So this is how you can use, like, make better use of star. And the similar goes for dollar also, such as you just want to index fat boy and you do not want to index anything else. So in this case, you can simply disallow the entire site and you can simply allow the Sportster, which means that the entire site would be blocked from the index, but only the Sportster category would be allowed, because since we are defining a dollar, which means that anything starting and ending with dollar would be like applicable. There is another condition or situation also. Suppose the owner wants nothing but they only wants all the model to get indexed. In this case, if you use allow if you use allow dollar sports star sorry if you use dollar sports star, it means that before sports star all the things which are there would be indexed. So this is how you can use the wildcard operators of dollar or star sign. Now there are a couple of things. It's always advisable to allow all the .css operators, all the .js and all the .gif operators. Now if you allow certain parameters such as .css, .js, .gif or any other assets, then they would help you in making sure that this kind of things are not having any blockage or blocking building towards your development of your website. So it's advisable to use that, and yeah, definitely they gives a huge amount of benefits from the mobility test and such kind of things. Now the main thing what I really always tell everyone, that robots can be really used to disallow unwanted pages because they prevents indexing bloat, which means unnecessary indexing of pages which do not serve user values. And they also helps in preserving crawl budget, which is our next point of discussion. So basically crawl budget is the number of pages which Google wants or Google indexes on a given time frame. Now, if you take the live example of this robots, then let me explain you the entire thing which has been done. So the first thing is, in this entire segment, we have declared 4 different user agents. The first one is an universal, the second one is the Google bot, the third one is Google mobile bot, and the last one is Bing. You might be wondering that if star is allowed, then why the other things are used. So the thing is, the obvious answer is it's better to define the primary search engine agents so that like there is no issues in crawling or indexing at later point of your website. So as you can see that the admin ajax is allowed, which means that any executable files are allowed so that there is no issues in search engine visibility. As we already have discussed that certain assets like JS, CSS, JPG, PNG, so these all things, these all figures are allowed so that there are no mobility issues. And then for disallow, we have used this that this prevents soft 404 or 404 occurrences. I have disallowed all the category, author, and unwanted pages so that we get prevention from index bloat and crawl budget. And last but not the least, we also have disallowed all the page URLs so that we do not index any unwanted pages of our website, such as like the most common example of this we can show is paginated URL, such as like suppose thatware.co/blogs. If we visit blog number 2, then these are all paginated URLs. And if we like disallow star slash page, which means that any particular URLs which starts with page would be disallowed from indexing, and this really helps in controlling the index bloat and the crawl budget. So that's all for today's session. If you have any queries, you can always reach out to my email, which is